forward to this. Hello,
Hello,
hello.
everyone.
Hi.
Hi, good to see you again. How are you?
Good, thank you. I'm going to put myself on mute, but I'm really excited for this.
Oh, good. I'm glad you're here. And give everybody a few seconds to get in and get settled. Anybody's by their phone, if you can drop in the chat an emoji on how you feeling today. How you feeling this nice hump day of Wednesday?
Sorry, I dialed in. I don't think I can do that, right?
That's okay. You can just tell us if you want to. We take
I'm feeling good, a little hot.
I feel that. We love a good glasses face. It's like my favorite emoji. We're gonna give everyone about 60 more seconds. All right. Yes, Angel, feeling good. All right. Natalie, oh my goodness, your picture is stunning. Like, wow, what a beautiful picture. Love it. All right. Well, as people keep coming in, we'll just let them join in, but I think we're gonna go get started. So, hello everyone. So glad you're here. You're welcome, Natalie. Welcome to our Inspire and Build webinar. We're excited to share yet another fun and an engaging topic, and find ways to really help you feel rejuvenated, not just inside of the dance studio, but outside of it. Um, just to give you again a background of where Inspire and Build comes from, this came from our DivaDance values of inspiring confidence and building community. So, Inspire and Build focuses on the ways that our community can thrive beyond the dance floor. So, we've had some really awesome topics this whole summer that I hope that's really helped you to feel more aligned to yourself and more powerful and more confident about all the great things that we are. And we want to keep that conversation going, especially talking about confidence. It may be the end of summer, but summer's not over, and neither is our journey in confidence. And so we want to be sure that we're thinking and talking about how we love ourselves, how we love our bodies, and how that impacts how we take care of our bodies. And so if you want to stay connected to Inspire and Build, here's some ways. One, you can join our Inspire and Build broadcast channel. So what you can do is go to the DivaDance HQ page on Instagram. And then in the bio, there will be a link to click on our Inspire and Build broadcast page, and you can keep up with things there. You can also keep up with our emails for our newsletters. And if you just want more information, you can go to our website, which has been put in the chat for you, divadanceinspireandbuild.com, to get the most up-to-date updates. And so we want to give a little shout out to someone that's really made this helpful for us, our sponsor, hers. So mental health isn't a one size fits all situation, and medication is not a dirty word. Sometimes that's exactly what will help. So hers connects you with licensed providers who personalize a treatment plan for you that works for you, from anxiety and burnout to that can't get out of bed type of fatigue. There's no insurance, no waiting rooms, no fluff, just real support, and it's FDA approved treatment. And the best part, it's 100% online. So if you're ready to take one small but really powerful step, go ahead and head to that website I mentioned, divadanceinspireandbuild.com, and follow the link, and you can get a free mental health assessment. This honestly could be the beginning of you feeling like you again. So thank you again to hers for making this conversation in this space possible for us. So now that we're getting into that conversation, again, I want us to think about how important is it to own our body in all of its beautiful shapes. When we start thinking about summertime, we're like, oh man, I got to get out the bikini and I got to look right in the bikini. And I'm not going to swim because my body isn't right, or I'm not going to go here. We talk about that summer body. And just thinking about how that mindset and that language, one, just impacts how we feel about ourselves and how we show up. But two, it also impacts how we take care of our bodies and what we do in the name of good health. And so we have a wonderful guest here, a dear friend of mine that I'm excited to share this conversation with. It's my girl, Nikki Joyner. She is also one of the co-owners for Arlington Metroplex DivaDance franchise. And so while Nikki is the most bomb boss babe entrepreneur that you'll ever meet, and a franchise owner, she's also spent so many years navigating her own relationship with image and confidence. And so while she has this beautiful stage presence and this drive and ambition, she has a very genuine, real lived perspective on how movement and mindset can really come together to walk into that space of self-acceptance. So I think she's a really perfect person to talk about this, because a lot of times when we're like hard workers, we don't think about that internal work with our minds and that external work with our bodies. And so I'm so glad you're here, Nikki. Welcome. How are you feeling today?
Oh my gosh, thank you so much. Can we go everywhere together? I
Can we
love the
literally?
intro. Let's
Yes, I
go.
got you,
Yes.
girl.
Hype Woman 101. Y'all.
Period.
Yes, I'm so excited to be with y'all today. I'm coming at you live from my home office in Irving, Texas. And yeah, like April mentioned, I'm connected to Diva Dance in so many cool and awesome ways. It has really been a life-changing experience for me. What started out as a class that my husband kind of pushed me to go to because he was wanting me to make some friends when we moved here has really turned into this awesome and amazing thing that now shapes who I am, how I see the world, and my friend groups and all the things. So, super excited to be here and super excited to be chatting about this topic. I think it's a really, really vital one that we should be talking more about.
Absolutely. And so, Nikki, I'm going to ask you to give us some of your takeaways that you think you're going to be talking about today and sharing with us. But while you're doing that, all of my friends here at that's listening to the webinar, if you could drop in the chat, if you're available to, your emoji that matches this question. I feel confident about my body today. So tell me, show me the expression and how you feel about your body today. Oh, I love it. Elizabeth put it in all caps, y'all. Okay. I feel confident about my body today. Point blank, period. I love it. I celebrate that. Yes. All right. Oh, we got the hearts. Yes.
Yes.
I love it. Yes. Oh, that's okay. Sometimes I side eye my body too. I feel it. Okay, we got that's like one of my favorite emojis ever. It explains everything. Yeah, okay. Oh, I love it. We have diversity of just different experiences. And hopefully, when we dive into this conversation, we can unpack it and also just be okay with, okay, that's how I feel about my body today, and it's okay. And I don't have to try to force myself to change it or do harmful things to change it. I just want to accept it and connect with it and do the best I can with it. So thank y'all for your honesty and transparency. So Nikki, tell us what are we going to learn from you today in all of your wisdom?
Oh, all of my wisdom. Yes, I love it. Yeah, so I think one of the things I really want to talk about is like, what does body confidence look like? What does it feel like? I'm going to share some of my business with you. I'm going to get a little personal, if that's okay. So I'm going to share some of my personal stories around body confidence and my experience with that throughout my teenage life and then into my adult life. And really kind of that focus on the relationship between how you feel about yourself and body image that you see in the world, and how that might impact how you feel about yourself. Essentially, what you input is what you output into the world. So, we're going to have some conversation about that. And then, they tell me as a motivational speaker, which is what I do in my full-time job, that I should never leave a time where I am sharing my wisdom and encouragement without giving you some tangible takeaways. So we can talk about some tangible takeaways, some tips, some tricks on how you can affirm yourself in the body that you're in a way that hopefully feels good and comfy and authentic for you. So that's what I got for y'all today.
Oh, I'm excited. I'm have my pencil and pen out or my pad
Yes.
and pen because I'm gonna need a little bit of this love too. Okay. All right. So let's open up with our kind of opening question just to kind of break the ice here. Um, And again, people in the chat, you can answer in the chat. You can come off mute and go ahead and answer. Nikki, if you want to join in and answer, we just want to kind of get people to try chatting and thinking about this. How do you think the societal perceptions of our bodies impact women's health? So when we're thinking about summertime, and we're like, oh, I gotta get this summertime fine. What are some things that we do to get summertime fine that may impact our health in the long run?
Mm. Oh, I think this is such a good question. And especially now where people are doing so many things online. Like I am looking for stuff online. I buy clothes online. If you feel like you often buy clothes online, can I just get a number one in the chat? If you're like where I go to buy clothes, like I go online maybe more often than not. Yep, yep. And when we go online, more often than not, what we're seeing now is a lot of companies leveraging AI in order to promote their clothing because it is saving them money not to have actual people model clothes. So
Oh,
instead of
yes.
actual people modeling clothes, what we're seeing is like computer generated, yes, Carolyn, AI models that we're seeing in clothing. Now, I don't know if you know anything about AI, but essentially what AI does is it recognizes patterns in the internet and spits out the information based upon the patterns that it finds on the internet. So a lot of times what we're seeing as it relates to that implicit message when we're buying clothes, specifically summertime clothes, I'm talking them shorts, I'm talking them bathing suits, I'm
Yeah.
talking the crop tops, right? All of those things. As we are seeing bodies that are being formulated, again, by computers, number one. And number two, we are seeing things that are directly related to one very specific type of person. So I think it's super important when we talk about the images that we're fed, often in times of like beauty standards. What is the beauty standard in America? It is a Western European style of beauty. That is what we see, and a Western European style of beauty tends to gravitate towards a very thin frame. In some cases, a very frail frame. It tends to focus on light features, light skin, light hair, and it also tends to focus a lot on like straightness. So not only do we see straight hair often, but we also see straight like lines in clothing, whether it's like diagonal line straight or like again a crop top line straight. So those implicit messages are again being sent by the things that we're seeing on the screen, and in turn we're like, oh, okay, so that's how that's supposed to fit. So that's how that's supposed to look. And I can't tell you the amount of times that I've ordered stuff offline. I've got it. And the first thing that I do when I put it on my body is I look at the photo from my email that I ordered it from. And I'm like, oh, it doesn't look like that. So I think I'm good. I don't know if I like it, right? Instead of like anchoring and like, how do I feel in this? Do I like this? Is it okay that it's longer than what's in the picture? Is it okay that
Yeah.
if it's different than what's in the picture? So I
Yeah.
think for me, like this concept of what we're seeing and how it's being generated by companies is sometimes like implicitly giving us this message that that's exactly how it's supposed to look on us. And I struggle
Yes.
with that a lot.
Me too, girl. That's so wise because like it's literally like psychology. Like we're being trained that certain things are supposed to look like this. Like even if you especially if you use like certain sight words like sexy birthday outfit. So
Hmm.
then like whatever comes up and whatever it looks like on that person, that's what sexy birthday is. So if it doesn't look like that on me, I'm not having a sexy birthday.
Yep.
And so again, like how do you connect those things together? I see the like I guess I'm on Instagram because I'm trying to get hip to TikTok, but most time on Instagram, they have like the Temu fails where they're like,
Yes.
what it was supposed to look like and then what it looked like on me. And we like laugh at it, but it's like, well, your body's not shaped like that, and that's okay. So how do we then one, as you say, get really comfy with how our body shape that, hey, that crop top's not going to hang here or it's not going to shape like this. And then how do we shop for that and how do we care for our body? Because we don't want to be unhealthy, but we also don't want to force ourselves into some shape that like is made up in our head. Like, how do we
Mhm.
remedy that?
Yeah. Yeah, and I think for me, especially when I was younger, in my teenage years, when I first got to buy clothes on my own, where I was like, okay, I don't have to buy the clothes that are like hand me down for me or the one school outfit that my mom gets, but like I can go out and shop for myself. Sometimes when we shop for ourselves, and for those of you that are not able to see me on the screen, I'm using air quotes here. When we shop for ourselves, I think oftentimes we're really shopping for what we think other people would like on us or what other people expect us to wear. And I
Mhm.
think oftentimes, specifically when we shop for other people, we tend to shop for other people by way of people that we are attracted to. So if I'm attracted to men, I often shop for clothes that I think that men would like. If I'm attracted to women, I often shop for clothes that I think other women would think I look good in, right?
Mhm.
So I think as we think specifically about like what are the clothes that we buy and like why do we buy them? Sometimes I think we don't buy them for ourselves as much as we buy them for the people that we want to think that we are attractive, right?
Girl,
And I
yes.
noticed that especially when I was in college. Like I'm buying clothes to like maybe go out. We had this bar called The Wayside, and it was like where we went if we were under 21, okay? Because that's the only bar we could get into. And I specifically remember like going shopping with my friends at Deb. I don't even know if Deb exists anymore.
It's gone. That
It's
was
gone. Yep. I don't think it exists
damn.
anymore.
Yes.
Darn. But we would go and the comments that people would say would be around like, oh yes, like that's an attention grabber. Oh my gosh, you should totally get that because your tatas look so good in that, right? As opposed to like, how do you feel in that dress? Or
Yeah.
like, how do you like this dress? As opposed to how you think other people are gonna like
Ooh,
it. And I think oftentimes that just comes with us into adult years. Um, and as a recruiter, which is what I used to do before I became a speaker, I often saw people that would wear things that were very uncomfy for them in interviews, right? Like a suit or like a jacket with some shoulder padding in it. You could tell that people are uncomfortable, right? But they're wearing it because they think that's what they're supposed to wear. They wear
yes.
it because they think that's what other people want them to wear, as opposed to like, what do you feel comfy and confident in? So that's
Ooh,
my take on that.
girl, you're hitting buttons. You're
I'm
pushing
hitting
buttons
buttons.
today.
Beep,
We
beep,
need
beep.
these buttons though, because that law of attraction is real and that law of belonging feels
Mhm.
real. Because I love how you moved it because we're like, oh, well, I may not care what the guy like looks at it, but you do care what your job thinks. You do care when you go home for Thanksgiving, what they think. You
Yep.
think like we just travel that from place to place to place. Like if I'm going out to the pool, I want people to be like, oh, she looks good in her bikini, or like, oh
Mhm.
my gosh, like that swimsuit fits her so well, versus like, did she put that on?
Mhm.
And that feeling of we care so much about that external feeling versus that internal validation, or B, finding a group of people in a village who's like, I don't
Yes.
care what you put on, you're beautiful. Like The beauty is not about how skinny or big or how wide your back is or skinny your back is. It's, do you feel good? Like, do you
Yep.
feel good in it? I always tell people when I was in my 20s, I dyed my hair all the time. Like
Mhm.
every color, if you name a color, I dyed my hair that color. It was a fun time. I don't do it anymore. And every time I dye it, one time it was purple and pink at the same time, like a nice little ombre. They were like, I mean, how do you pull that off? And I said, I just wear it. Like, if I
Mhm.
timidly am like, oh, I don't know, then they're gonna be like, oh, well, I don't know. But if I wear it and I'm just like, here it is, it's pink and purple, they're like, you know what, that looks cute. And it's how we wear that confidence in ourselves. And then that's how it shows up of how we take care of the confidence that we have. You know, I've even seen that progress into my own body image journey of the more that I've settled into, I will never be like my high school weight, probably ever again in life. And so, how do I take care of the shape of body that I have now? The better that my health outcomes have actually been, where I'm actually
Mhm.
able to run more, I'm actually able to be more active. My numbers at the doctors actually look better because I'm not doing these fad things to like fit a certain body standard that actually makes my health worse. I'm actually investing into good health and appreciating the body I have and the health that I have with the body that I have.
150%. Yes. And I think, one of the things we hear this all the time, at least in our market in Irving and Arlington and Mansfield and now Midlothian. But we often people will come to us and they'll say, I am looking for something because I want to lose weight. I want
Yeah.
to get I want to lose weight or I want to get back to my high school weight. We have a staff member who always tells me I'm trying to get back to my high school weight. And I'm like, girl, your high school weight is for high school, right? Your high school weight is for high school. Think about all of the things that your body has endured since high school. Some people on this call have had children, multiple children, okay? You don't just bear a child and then go back to a high school weight, right? That's like not how that works, right? You don't go through like cognitive and physical development and then go back to a high school weight. So I don't mean to pick on like the high school weight concept, and just want to double and triple tap on what you said, like recognizing to myself that like my high school weight was my high school weight, and I am no longer a high schooler,
Yeah.
right? I am a grown adult woman, so that means I have a grown adult weight. And I think that that should be something that we normalize more often, because we have so many people that come to us by way of diva dance. And really, it just boils down to two things. They either come to us because they're running towards something or they're running away from something.
Oof, yes.
People are either running towards, I'm trying to find my people, or I see that your classes look really fun and I'm trying to run towards fun, or they're running away from a really bad situation in their life, like a divorce or a friendship breakup, or a relationship breakup, or a job malfunction, or a failed business, or whatever it is. But regardless of if they're running towards something or running away from something, they lack confidence. Typically, they lack confidence in a new environment. And I think that is why it's so special about what we do, is because we are looking for people that want to come as their genuine self. And I love to
Yeah.
use the word genuine here because I think, yes, I love authenticity, but in some cases, like authenticity is a privilege, right? And you don't know if you can always be authentic in a space with somebody because you don't know them right away, but you want to show up as genuine as possible. And that's just what I love so much about what we do, is because we're really focused on that genuine connection to the point where when we have summer pool parties, like Confident Girl Summer, we've got
Yeah.
people that are like, I'm so excited to show off my new bathing suit. I'm
Yes.
so excited to show off my new outfit or whatever I got for this, as opposed to being like, I don't know if I'm going to the swimsuit party because I'm just afraid of like what people will think about me. So I am so glad that you said that. And I just want to kind of double, triple tap on that.
Yeah. Alicia Berry. Oh, okay. I was about to say, I see that she's unmuted. I wanted to know if you had a comment you wanted to share, or if anybody from our audience wanted to jump in and say anything. I know we can chat away. Okay, well, feel welcome if you have anything to share. I see some people sharing things in the comments, so I'm really
Mhm.
glad this is resonating. So, Nikki, I know you said you're going to share your story, so we're ready to hear. Tell us just about your health story and your journey with body confidence.
Yeah, I love it. I love it. So I want to start off with a couple of things. Number one is the story that I'm about to share with you is incredibly personal. Most people that know me by way of DivaDance know me as the current body that I'm in. They know me as most people know me as a franchise owner. Some people in the DFW area know me as like someone who's been involved in DivaDance, maybe as an instructor or a client. Um, Before I came to DivaDance, I was I'll call it just a lone wolf. I didn't really have a ton of friends when I moved to the DFW area, which is where my husband was born and raised. So that's ultimately why I ended up moving here. I moved here for love, right? But before I came to the Dallas-Fort Worth area, I spent 10 years working in a job that I didn't really like. It was okay, but it stressed me out. I didn't have good work-life balance, and as a result, I gained a lot of weight being in that career and in that job. And again, I attribute it to a lot of things. I had really poor time management. I had really poor eating habits. And from the time that I graduated from college and that 10-year career I had in the job, I gained about 130 pounds. Um, and I was incredibly self-conscious. I worked with students all the time. So because I worked with students all the time in college, I was around a lot of young, very youthful people. And I would do my very best that I could to be as confident and outgoing with them as possible. When inside, I was really like, oh my gosh, I hate the way that I look. I never want to get up in front of students because I don't like the way that I look. I don't feel confident about myself. And I just continue to fall in deeper into the like the pattern hole that kept reoccurring for me gaining more weight, right? I just kept gaining more weight. I kept losing confidence as a result of that. And it was just this kind of cyclical cycle that kept moving and kept moving and kept moving. And I began to not like myself. And it drastically shaped the way that I showed up in relationships with other people. In the workplace, it showed up like I was overcompensating for everything because I didn't want people to ever question what I looked like physically. So if I overcompensated and was overworked and underpaid, like most people on this call probably, I would just overcompensate and try to do everything perfect. That way, nobody ever questioned me in any way, shape, or form. So I gave a lot to my job, not a lot to myself. Um, in friendships, I would have this like, and what I'm about to say might relate to some people, but I would have this like internal struggle with, I don't want to go out with my friends because when I went out with my friends, I would feel like shit about the way that I looked. And I didn't want to be around other people that liked the way that they looked because it made me feel like shit, and I didn't like it. So then I started to isolate myself away from friends. I stopped going to karaoke. I stopped going to brunch. I stopped going to these places because I didn't want to be around happy people because I wasn't happy. And I know that that might seem like so like a girl, but that was what I experienced. So then I began to distance myself from friends and I lost some friends. Um, and then in romantic relationships, y'all, I let everything slide. Everything slid for me because I was like, well, maybe they're just, well, maybe, well, they do care about me. Well, they did say that they loved me. So I'm going to let all of these things go because I'm really self-conscious about myself and this person's giving me attention. So I'm just going to take it. Right. And in every single facet of my life, I found that the really main thing that I was focused on was the way that I looked externally, my weight. So, then I saw my sister, and she struggled with kind of the same thing in her adult years. And one day my sister called me and she was like, "Hey, I'm getting weight loss surgery." And I was like, "Oh." I had 50,000 questions. She answered them all. And she got the weight loss surgery. And y'all, she lost a lot of weight. And I began to watch my sister externally, what I thought was getting her life back. So then I started to do more research on bariatric surgery and different types of bariatric surgery. I was following things online. I was looking at a lot of Instagram pages, and it was all external stuff that I was seeing, right? I wasn't actually having conversations with people about this. I was just inferring based upon what I saw online. And then I said to myself, I'm gonna get this surgery too. I'm gonna get the weight loss surgery too. And once I lose all of this weight, all my problems will be fixed. I will not not go out for brunch. I will be outside every weekend with my friends. I will have lots of friends who will be great and awesome. I will have more confidence in my job, so I won't pour everything I have into. Have a little bit more work-life balance. And then I will find someone who is respects my boundaries. I will find someone who loves me for me, and thinks I'm beautiful and sexy and all of those things. So I got the weight loss surgery. I got the surgery. I had gastric bypass surgery in 2022 before I got married. And originally, when I had the surgery, I had a lot of complications with it. I spent a total of 94 days in the hospital, and 14 of those days were in the ICU. So I told myself, I'm going to do whatever I can so that I can get smaller. Because when I get smaller, I will feel better about myself. That was what I kept telling myself. When I get smaller, I will feel better about myself. So, Nikki, you will endure whatever it takes. You will fast for 14 days before the surgery and drink nasty protein drinks. Because when you get skinnier, you will feel better about yourself, Nikki. I kept telling myself that over and over again. In the hospital, it got a little bit more challenging, and in the ICU, it was even more challenging to tell myself, like, my God, girl, what are you willing to do to quote unquote get skinny? What are you willing to do? And I spent 94 days in the hospital. It's lonely in the hospital, y'all. It's very lonely in the hospital. You do two things in the hospital. You count ceiling tiles and you watch Shark Tank over and over and over again because that is the only thing on the TV and nobody is in the room with you. So you just count the ceiling tiles and you watch Shark Tank over and over again. And in that moment, I was like, wow, my life has stopped entirely because I literally put myself on borderline life support so that I could, again, air quotes, get skinny. And everyone else's life, it kept going. Everyone else's life kept moving. It kept going, it kept moving, and my life stood still. So after I got out of the hospital, I started to lose a lot of weight. I was down 70 pounds before I even left the hospital. And then before my wedding, I was down almost 90 pounds. And now I am down to 130 pounds. So I view that as I lost pretty much all my weight that I gained during my 10-year struggle time, as an adult. And I thought that if I could just get quote unquote skinny, I would feel better about myself. And as someone who has endured 94 days in the hospital, as someone who has fasted for eons and eons and eons and tried lots of different diets and all of these things, I am here to tell everyone on this call or anyone that is ever listening to this that after I quote unquote got skinny, I did not feel better about myself. Those things that I thought would change in my life did not change. I still felt angst about going out with my friends. I still had comparison fatigue with everyone else that I was going out with and second guess and triple guess and quadruple guess every single outfit I ever put on. I still overworked in every job that I have, including being a franchise owner, because it is an internal habit that really had nothing to do with my weight. It had nothing to do with my external weight. And I used that as a crutch because I thought that's what people were prioritizing about me. I thought that's what people were fixating on about me. But really, I was fixating on that for myself. The people that I was surrounded with were not fixating on that the way that I thought that they were. And in 10 years, I gained weight, sure, but I also gained a lot of habits that were really detrimental to my own self-worth and my own confidence. And I thought that if I just lost the weight, that I would lose those habits. And I did not lose those habits. So my story is really reflective on everything that I was willing to do to quote unquote, and again in air quotes, get skinny. So now that I'm a human being, about a year ago, I was a human being at 130 pounds. And I'm like, okay, I'm ready to go face the world and do my stuff. And I realized that I had a lot of internal habits that had nothing to do with weight that I needed to unpack for myself as it relates to how I feel about myself and what I prioritize for myself and what I prioritize for other people. So therapy has been absolutely tremendous and incredible for me to help get this mindset and to help figure out what are the habits that I actually need to shift in order to feel more confident about myself. So I know that there are people on this call that struggle with weight loss, weight gain. I know that there are people on this call that may struggle with beauty standards and how they feel about themselves. And I am here to tell you that you can change anything you want about yourself, but you have to remember that you will have relationships that come and go with people, and the longest relationship that you will ever have is with yourself. The longest relationship that you will ever have is with yourself. So you have to make sure that the same way that you treat people that you care about in your life is the same way that you treat yourself. So thank you so much for coming to my TED Talk today. I really appreciate it.
Oh my goodness. Nikki freaking Joyner. Like, wow. Whew. Just all like just have to take a gas, a breath. Thank you for your honesty. Thank you just for sharing this story with so many people. Because I think a lot of times one, we never hear anyone say that internal part. I mean, you said some really raw things. And I think it's the things that we try to pretend aren't there because we don't know how to navigate those type of emotions.
Mhm.
I don't want to go out with my friends because honestly, they're happy with themselves and content and confident, and I'm not. And so I don't want to be around them.
Yep.
Yes, and things that we see on social, and it's just one part of the story. But I think also we don't believe that leaders go through anything. We do see a Nikki Joyner and we're like, she's perfect. Like everything's great.
She
All
ain't
of this is
perfect.
great. Her happy, her like her life's perfect. She's happy. She's bubbly. She's successful. She's married. Like this is that and the third, and not think that that person can still navigate those same challenges. So I think that is just helpful for both sides of the coin. That externally you can't run from those things, but also internally you can't run from it either. And that's so powerful. So sorry that you went through that experience, and this is the experience that you are taken through to learn more about yourself. But I'm so glad you're on the other side, and I'm so glad that you are giving so much to other people so genuinely, um, and authentically, because it's something that's going to heal a lot of us. And I think this is a place where we can stop and take a look and figure out, okay, what is my relationship with confidence? We do have a question in the chat here. If you could choose, would you do the surgery again?
Ooh, I get this question a lot. I get this question a lot. No, no, I would not. There's a couple reasons why. Number one, I got the surgery purely for vanity. Sometimes people will be like, I got weight loss surgery because I wanted to be healthier. I did not want to be healthier. I just want to be clear with everyone on this call. That was not my motivation to get the surgery. I wanted to be snatched. And that is why I wanted to get the surgery, is because I wanted to be skinnier. I wanted to be snatched.
Yeah.
Um, but I experienced so much emotional trauma that comes up in so many other places in my life, um, that it's not worth it for me. And sometimes I think that because of and I'll say the stage that I have, because to April's point, like I do own a business. I own two businesses. So I'm a DivaDance franchise owner. So I have a certain stage as a franchise owner with anyone who is connected to DivaDance. I see some of y'all here on the call. Shout out to y'all. I love you so much. But I also have a stage as a motivational speaker. And I sometimes struggle with exactly what April said is people see Nikki's happy, she's confident, she looks awesome, she looks like she's having fun. And I don't always correlate that with the way that I feel on the inside. But sometimes I feel like specifically for the youth that I interact with, the high school students, the college students, I do them a little bit of a disservice by not being, by being in this body. Um, because they don't always get the full story that y'all just got. When I go travel, I typically talk about career readiness and job placement. I'm not over here like, and I was in the hospital counting ceiling tiles and watching Shark Tank, right? Like they don't ever get that from me. Um, but I think oftentimes there is a perception associated with happiness and size. And I wish that I would have achieved this level of happiness in the size that I was 4 years ago, so that other people that are that size could see that it is possible. So that's another reason why. But no, if I could go back and say, am I going to get the surgery again, or if I'm not, if I could get a redo, I would say no. I would not do it. I would probably be in more therapy, but no, I would not do it.
Yeah. I love Natalie's. This like kind of just relates to what Natalie just said. The most important relationship we will ever have is the one with ourselves. And our
Hmm.
ultimate goal is to be your best friend, your own best partner, and to talk and treat yourself with the love, hype, positivity, support that I treat and talk to my most cherished loved ones. And I think that's just like a relearning. And this kind of segues into like the next topic of how our families modeled self-confidence to ourselves. For me, um, I grew up with a horrible relationship with body image.
Hmm.
My grandma, and mine has kind of more of a cultural twist to it because
Hmm.
my grandma was always in white spaces. She was the only Black woman. She was the 20th Black woman ever to get a PhD in mathematics. And so she was always the first and the finest in a lot of things.
Yep.
And I'll never forget when she told me that she warned me when you start having events and things, there is only three things that people are going to worry about: what you're wearing, who you're with, and how much makeup you have on. And I was just like, girl, you're crazy. Like, that is absurd until I humbly and blessedly was able to inaugurate a Black Excellence Ball at the university I worked at when I first started after grad school. Created a scholarship, ran this whole thing. It was an HBCU, or historically Black college. They've never had a Black Excellence event to highlight the students and the great things they're doing, as well as give back to the high school students who didn't have the opportunity to go to this college, especially since grants were being cut at that time. And this was a really, really big deal. And I remember that all that was remembered of that day is that I had recently cut all my hair off. And that was like the talk of the show. And that my ex at the time brought another woman to the event. No one
Hmm.
talked about the awards. No one talked about this monumental thing that was going to like set forth history for this university. And so that's when I really realized like image is everything. Like you have to be an image, and especially as a Black woman, you have to be in shape. You have to wear certain things. You have to present yourself in a certain way, or they won't accept you. And that's such a hard cultural layer to walk around with, but especially as women in general, of we're always being scrutinized by our appearance and saying like you won't get the job because your hair looked like this or because you didn't wear makeup. And that's such a scary thing, especially when you see your family really embody that message. And it's like, I don't know how else to live.
Hmm.
Even down to in your household, when you're like, I know something, this is my own transparent thing. I struggle with being physically vulnerable of like wearing whatever I want to around the house because I'm like, I was taught, hey, if you don't keep yourself looking nice for a man, they're gonna leave you or they're gonna cheat on you. And that was told by family members. And so, yeah, don't go around the house wearing no oversized shirt and some gym shorts because they're gonna cheat and they're gonna leave you. And that's such a heavy burden to carry when we're always, as women, wearing a mask. And there's never a place where that mask can come off. I say with my friends, the bra off mentality, where like you can really relax and be yourself. And as a wellness professional, that leads to so many health issues because it's like your breath is always being held, like always. You're always tense. You're always feeling tense here. You're always feeling tense in your chest. You're always feeling tense in your stomach. That leads to those digestive issues. That leads to organ issues because you're never relaxed. You're never yourself. You're never at ease. You're never safe. Um, and so I just wondered, Nikki, do you have any experiences around that where body image from either older women or just people in your family has impacted how you felt about your external image?
Oh yeah, 150%. I remember growing up and my mom in front of the mirror being like, I look so fat in this. I look so fat. I look so fat. And my mom, before she had me, My mom was a like size 6'8". Now my mom comfortably sits at like an 18-20. Um, and I remember being a young kid and even a middle schooler. And my mom would be like, "Man, these are my wedding pictures. Like before I had you," she's like, "I was such a little skinny mini. Before I had you, I was such a little skinny mini." And I know that she didn't mean anything by it, but sometimes I was just like, "Well, dang, why'd you have me then?" You know what I mean? Like, what?
I'm sorry, I ruined everything.
Right, sorry, I ruined everything. You know what I mean? Like, ugh. Um, but when I saw my mom in front of the mirror saying things like, "Oh, I look fat in this," or "Oh my God, look at my arms." My mom makes this
Yes.
this kind of joke. Again, she's like, "Oh my gosh, look at me, I'm flying away." How many times do you see Nikki Joyner in the studio still as a 35-year-old woman being like, "Oh my gosh, I'm flying away," right? This
Mhm.
stuff it sticks in our brains implicitly, and then it just comes out
Mhm.
randomly. And again, I think about when I'm in dressing rooms when I was growing up specifically, like I would get one new outfit. I'd have hand-me-down outfits, but I get to go to the one store and get the one outfit. So I'd be like, "Oh, I'm so excited for this day." This was before the internet, okay, people? If you know, you know. So I did
Mhm.
not have my electronic countdown, but I did have my calendar countdown from a little dog calendar in my room. I'll be counting down the days till I get to go and get my one outfit. And then I'd sit in the dressing room and I'd be like, "Oh, you know?" And then I'd come out, my mom would be like, "Show me the outfit." I'd come out, be like, "Oh, I think I look fat in this." And my mom would be like, "Yeah, I don't think that's it." Or like, "Oh, I don't like the way my arms look like this." She's like, "No, I think that's too tight," or whatever, right? And I think sometimes, especially as a younger kid, I was so focused on the size. If you've ever been hyper fixated on the size of clothes that you wear, I need you to drop a 2 in the chat. If you've ever been hyper fixated on the size of the clothes that you wear, oh yes, I'm gonna do this as yep. I'm gonna do yep. Uh-huh. 2 million trillion point two. Yes. Um, I hated when my mom would be somewhere and she'd be like, "I'm gonna go see if I can get a large." And I'm like, "Mom, shh, be quiet." Right? Because she'd be like, "Oh, I think you need a large." And she'd be yelling in the thing. And I'm like, "Mom, shh, I'm embarrassed." And now I think about it like, why am I embarrassed?
Mhm.
Why was I embarrassed that I needed a large, right? I was embarrassed because there was this implicit message around like, oh, I would see my mom in front of the mirror and I would see the way she talked to herself, and I thought that's how I was supposed to talk to myself too.
Oh, yes.
So yes, yes. And again, even as an adult, when I got married, my mom was like sending me photos, and she's like, "I think I look a little chunky in this," and I'm like, "I would encourage you to talk to yourself differently." Now, as an adult, I'm like, "Look, ma, you ain't doing this, no." But you need to talk to yourself differently again, because the longest relationship we will ever have with ourselves is with ourselves. And if I spend so much time telling myself that I look fat in this, or I'm looking a little chunky in this, or I don't like the way I look in this because I'm so short and it's supposed to not fit that way, right? It's like so much negative input is gonna get negative output.
Yeah. You're speaking, girl. And I
Yes.
I think of things logically as well of let's think about time spent. I have to do this with myself. So this is for anybody listening, this is not anything on you. This is a us, okay? Let's all bring
Mhm.
ourselves to the red table talk. So let me think about, for example, for me again as a wellness professional, and I posted about this recently on social media. When I started, I got my personal training certification. I was excited. I was like, "Oh, yeah, yeah, yeah." Did a whole photo shoot. And I showed one of my colleagues the picture, and he was like, I don't know if you should post that picture. Like, I don't know if people are going to trust you as their trainer with your body looking like that. And I was like, oh, dang. Yeah, like, all right. And so I spent 2 years. Yeah, Elizabeth was hot about this. I spent,
Big mad.
yeah, I spent 2 years not doing the work. I spent 2 years when the people were like, oh my gosh, like, I'm ready. Can you train me? Can you do this? Can you write a workout? And I was like, yeah, let me get to this, let me do that. And it was because of that picture. It was every time someone literally said the words out of their mouth, "Will you train me?" Bam, picture just like popped up in my head. And I was like, don't you do it because your arms look flab. I'm flying away too. I got big mama arms. That's it. Like it's in the family. That's why I can cook well. But I was like, no, you can't do it because of how you look. And So I wasted 2 years of life still looking how I look, probably looked even worse, actually, probably gained more weight because of the sadness, because of the depression, because of the lack of working out. Um, versus if I just started then, if I just said to myself, you know what? That person's probably going to think what they're going to think, and there is nothing I can do about it. That's
Hmm.
them, and they are not my client. But there's
Right.
someone out there who's a little heavier in weight that's like, oh my gosh, finally it's not a skinny chick. Oh, can you help me? Because every time I do jumping jacks, my things just hit me in the face, and the skinny girls don't get it. And so you get my jumping jacks. Can you do this with me? And I can say yes. And I could have been doing the work for 2 years, and I could have been building a community of people feeling safe and losing weight and feeling healthy and also focusing on body health versus being skinny.
Hmm.
But instead, I spent 2 years doing nothing. And so for a lot of us, there's a something that we're spending time away from that is what we're designed to do. Maybe it's something as simple of your child is a teenager now. And for the past 2 years, they've been silently struggling with their confidence, but they can't come to you because they're coming to you and you're like, I don't love my body. And you're like, dang it, why don't my daughter talk to me about this? This is your chance. This is your opportunity. This is your opportunity to take in your own beauty and to pass it along to someone else. This is a chance to take in your own confidence and utilize it as a tool for somebody else, maybe in your family, maybe in your job, or maybe just in your own freaking life. That this is your opportunity to really walk in that confidence, to be yourself, and to inspire someone else. And this is a moment. Yes, Elizabeth, we're breaking cycles. And we have this beautiful, beautiful opportunity, not burden, but opportunity. It's within you. You deserve it. It's just how do we liberate from all the things that we've been told, all the things that we've been shown, all the things that feels like this is what we have to do and how we have to present ourselves, and start walking into this place where we love exactly who we are and we're able to take care of it as well as we can.
I love that. I love that.
And I also like we need to be having these kind of conversations, which is so
Yeah.
great that also, DivaDance is like a space to do that, but just these are the conversations where you say everyone is it's I think it's we feel very isolated in these feelings. And as we've already brought up multiple times with the social media and comparison, it's when I do share with others or when others share with me, I'm like, it's so wild because we actually are all feeling the same thing, but yet we keep just getting driven to that, say everyone looks the same, everyone should be this way, the patriarchy, white supremacy, all the things. We're just gonna have to keep doing that work to deprogram but these conversations are so important to it because then we can kind of at least know, like, oh, she's feeling this way. I'm feeling this way. I didn't know she was feeling this way, but collectively we are all kind of feeling the same.
Yes. So, which leads, perfect segue again. Nikki, what do we do? Tell us, like, help us figure out what are some daily or weekly things, maybe even monthly things we can do to start working on that practice of building that confidence.
Love it. Love it. Okay. Number one, I need everyone to write down the title of this book. It is called Let Them. Two
Oh,
words. Two very important words. Now, I want to be 100% transparent. I'm not a reader. I have only ever read one book cover to cover, and it is this book, Let Them. It's by Mel Robbins, and I'm sorry, I can't remember the other person's name. Mel Robbins and someone else. Um, that this is the book, okay? And I think the reason why I'm saying that this is the book is because the let them mentality is something that I use with so many things in my life, but specifically around confidence. The number one question I get all the time is, how are you so confident? How are you so confident when you teach class? How are you so confident when you run this meeting? How are you so confident when you run through the grocery store with 7 minutes on the clock, getting the things that you need to get? How are you so confident when you talk to 10,000 students in a room and you can only see 500 of them? How are you so confident? And for me, I immediately, every time I do something that I know is going to make me nervous, I don't not experience nervousness or anxiousness. I do, right? And then I ask myself one very important question. What's going to happen if someone doesn't like it? What's going to happen if somebody judges me? What's going to happen if they don't like it? What's going to happen if they don't respond the way that I want them to respond? This book has been a game changer for me. Let them. If I teach class and it is not a slam dunk home run with every single person, and then I start, second guessing or triple guessing everything that I do, then it affects everything else, including my confidence. If I don't hit 100% with every time, that's okay. Let them. If I talk to 10,000 students and I get a chance to reach 50 of them, I mean, really reach 50 of them, then that's great. The other 9,950 students, let them. And I think sometimes we are so focused about what other people think about us that we are hyper fixated on their response as opposed to our gift.
Mm.
And that's what this book talks about is caring less, not caring less. And I think she does talk about this in the book actually at several different points. Um, but fixating less on other people's responses and more about your input, more about what you're putting into the world, the gift that you have, as opposed to the gift that we are bringing into the world and what we are meant to do. So the first thing I would encourage you to do is read that book or listen to it on Audible. That's what I did. You can listen to it on Audible. The second thing that I think is super practical that yes, Shauna, we are not responsible for other people's thoughts. We are not responsible for other people's feelings. Oh, yes, fire emoji to you. Um, yes, the second thing that I think we can do that has been so super helpful to me is we can actually process the things. So the way that I process best is through voice note. If anybody knows me or has worked with me, you know that I'm a voice note girly. Okay, I don't normally text. I voice note. Some people reflect by way of journaling. That's a huge reflection point. Some people like writing physical things down. Some people reflect by way of therapy. Some people reflect by way of conversations at 4 a.m. in the Taco Bell lobby, right? You have to figure out like what is your reflection method. For me, my reflection method is a voice note. So if I experience something where I'm like, oh wow, my confidence really tanked, I voice note my reflection. So some of the questions that I ask myself repeatedly, and again, I do this a lot when I'm on the road, but you can do this anytime. If you're in a meeting at work and you feel like your confidence plummeted, if you are teaching a class or selling a membership and you feel like your confidence plummeted, if you're having a challenging conversation with your spouse and you feel like your confidence plummeted, you can reflect. And the way that I do this is I literally just pop out my phone, I open the voice note, and I'm like, I talk to myself. Okay, Nikki. We just had a very interesting time together. Again, I'm talking to myself as if I'm two people, right? We just had a very interesting time together at the Ohio FFA convention where you gave the 35-minute keynote speech. Why were you so obsessed with the fact that it was only 33 minutes? Why were you on that stage for the last 2 minutes, plummeting your confidence, girl? Why were you doing that? I started to ask myself some questions. And then in turn, I process my feelings. In this moment, I am feeling really inept. I wish that I would have practiced more. I wish that I would have done these things. I let myself get out the I wishes. I let myself get out all the things where I get super hard on myself because I can't get rid of it. And I know I'm speaking to some other people on this call right now where you can't get rid of it. And then I tell myself, what would have happened if? What would have happened if you did this? What would have happened if you practiced more? What would have happened if? And I allow myself to process in real time, probably nothing. Nothing probably would have changed in this moment. So I think in this moment, I just needed to get it out. And again, I do this with myself by way of voice note. Some people reflect about their feelings or emotions or what they think they could have done differently. But I think the last thing that I really want people to hear around a tangible thing is that loop back around to the book, which is yes, you could have done all of these things differently. Yes, you could have been more prepared. Yes, you could have done this. Yes, you could have done that, but you didn't. And I think you need to be confident to what you brought to the table today. What you brought to the table today. Because honestly, perfectionism is overrated. IMO, in my opinion, it's overrated. Um, And I think the more that I dwell on what I didn't do, the less I dwell on what I actually did. So, what I'd like to focus on and what I would encourage you to focus on is what did you do? For some people, it's like, I wish I would have done this. I wish I would have done that. And then I just kind of, falter over it, as opposed to like, man, I wish I would have approached this difficult conversation like this, or I wish I would have done this, or I wish I would have done that, as opposed to like, man, Nikki, you brought it up. That's a big step for you. So I think focusing on the things that you can do to bring it up. I like the voice note again. You can reflect, journal, do whatever you do. But I think the biggest thing and the most important thing that I want you to remember is to be kind to yourself and remember that things don't happen overnight. What you see on social media is only a fraction of what actually exists. And if you ever need some encouraging words, if you ever need some fun emojis, if you ever need some light gifts or memes that I can send to you to help remind you of that, please DM me and let me know. I would love to be that person for you.
Yes, and she means that.
I
That
do.
is
I really do.
powerful. That is so, so powerful. I'd love to add a couple more of those to those, something that personally just works for me. Another one is set your intentions before you do the thing. So
Hmm.
I'll explain. A few years ago, I did a showcase. It was a Black Man Brief showcase, a photography showcase I did. And I was like, okay, what is success for me? Because I don't want success to be based on what a successful event is, where it's 100 people and all the things. I want like success barriers for me that like when I do this, I'm like, yeah, I did this. So my success was I show up. I show up and I'm fully dressed and I'm dressed well. I show up on time and I set up really well. And I set up the exhibit correctly. I make sure that I know my script really well and that my script doesn't sound too researchy, but it sounds really interactive and engaging. Um, and that people actually, whoever shows up, whether it's one or 1,000, that they truly get connection from the piece and then that they enjoy it and they leave understanding Black men just a little more than they did yesterday. I didn't care how many people couldn't come. I didn't care who canceled. I didn't care about all the other things that are out of my control mostly, but also weren't as meaningful and as valuable as that thing. I cared about the things that brought value. So for all of you, maybe it's not valuable what so and so thinks about you in this bikini, but what's valuable to you is that you feel so good and you're like actually breathing when you're at the place. You're not wearing something so tight. It's like, oh my gosh, I hate this outfit. But you're like, you know what? I'm breathing and I feel good. I'm having a good time. I have enough money to go get myself a mimosa while I'm beachside and I'm in the water and it feels good. And the water's not too hot. I want to go someplace where the water's cold. Like, I don't really care about how I look. Is the water cold? Like, and I can focus on things that are actually of value. So set intention before you do the thing so that when you get there, you don't make your intentions based on everyone else's intentions. You make it based on yourself. Um, Another one is expose yourself as much as possible. So something that's really helped me is seeing women who are like not perfectly like curvy because I'm not perfectly curvy. And seeing body shapes that are just like bodies, you know? My therapist actually made me watch this really crazy show where there was like lots of naked people on there and like I had to see their different types of body shapes and different ways. I didn't know boobs look so many different ways. But she was like, I want you to be comfortable with knowing all the bodies don't have to look like a Coke bottle. You have your own body and live in it. So the more that I see diverse bodies, the more that it kind of just destigmatizes this, oh, I have to look like this in this dress, or I have to look like this in jeans. And it's just like, oh, everybody just looks different in it. So when I put them on, I say, oh, this is how I look in them, and this is how I like it. Cool. And the last one is just keep practicing mindfulness. Like keep doing the release, keep doing the breath work, keep letting your body let go of those things because while we'll let it go in our minds, our body keeps the score. That's another book that's like one of my faves.
Mhm.
Um, don't let your body keep the score of all the things that have been told to us that's been harmful. Release. Do some yoga, do some walking, do some breath work, let it go. So then you don't see that in your body either. Other than that, just please go be your confident, amazing, beautiful selves, because all of you deserve it and all of you have it. Nikki, you have set this whole talk on fire. And I just appreciate you so much for your wisdom, for your love, for your honesty, your authenticity. Truly, thank you.
Thank you so much. Thank you. It's such an honor to be able to talk to people about things that we often don't talk about. Um, and DivaDance has been a place where I feel like I have been able to do that. And I hope that for each one of you too, whether you've been in DivaDance for 7 minutes or 7 years. I hope that you are able to find your people that help bring the best out of you. And I also hope that you are able to have more conversations like this. But I'm super thankful that y'all took 65 minutes to be with us today, y'all. 65 whole minutes. I'm sending you my favorite heart emoji, which if you can see me on the screen, I'm making it for you here. Normally, when I'm with people, I do half a heart and I ask you to fill in the other half. So if you feel so inclined, you can feel free to fill in the other half for me. I'm giving it to you on my camera. Yes, thank you. You can fill in the heart for me. Yes. Oh my God, thank you, Shauna. Yes. I love it. I love it so much. And as always, April, thank you for being incredible. Thank you for having me today.
Yes, thank you for wanting to be have today. And thank you to all of you who are listening, who have participated. Thanks for sharing your feedback. We are definitely here to hear more about how your confidence journey is going. And go out today, right now. Like, okay, if you're at work, like you can't change your clothes, but maybe this evening, like put something on that you're like, beforehand I wasn't feeling it. I want you to put that on and like post a picture about it, show it to somebody. Feel good, like feel all the feels, put the fire emojis under it because you deserve the confidence. Well, thank you again for you all's time. I really appreciate you. And we will see you next time on the next webinar, next opportunity to chat, and looking forward to more growth in everyone. Take care.
Bye, y'all.
Thank